Yeah, so we awaited the arrival of Valor Company. We played coppers. Um, it became quite apparent that Grimm's type is redheads.
And there were so many of them.
So many,
An
so
aggressive
many
amount
of them,
redheads.
and they behaved in such confusing ways. So yeah, they kind of need a break from all of that. Let's see let's see what else I'm gonna pull up the next document that I just finished subheading.
Valor Company
Lenya
arrived.
had her date with Uriel. We had we had we did eventually meet up with Valor Company and find out that at which point we found out that they've finished up with their negotiations mission. Tried to search the area and didn't have any luck figuring out where everybody in the cult masks went after that campsite. So they're going north to do some more searching in that general area. We're going north to the Caring Hands School. We have horses. They're extremely good horses. Say has provided us with an extremely detailed map. And it looks like we'll be meeting up with Kiss along the way.
Yeah, I don't think Grim has mentioned that to anyone yet, have they?
I don't think so.
No,
fine.
Lenya doesn't know.
It's fine. Oh, and Kalindra found an alchemy jug in a thrift shop.
She sure did.
She rolled real good on her investigation check for reasons.
She's the best.
I play dolls between games. I'm like, what is Kalindra up to?
I love it so much.
Just say that. What the? Oh my god. You know what? Whatever chaos is. So.
And then everybody went to bed.
Yeah.
Yeah.
With intentions to leave in the morning, theoretically.
Yeah.
With some of you.
Pretty early was the plan.
Mm-hmm.
There was some side chatting, mostly banter. Yeah. Also, there's a table that is mostly floral arrangements now.
Really pretty. Special table.
Yeah. We're going to move it out to the patio, right? Patio.
And we're also learning how to deal with unconventional drink requests, such as make me something happy.
Something happy.
That was amazing.
As you wake up in the morning, Valor Company left the night before. I don't think anyone stayed the night. Even Say left.
That's right. And some of us almost said they loved us on the way out. Some of them did.
Alina is still upstairs in your house. But I believe she is not a morning person and will not be awake for your departure.
Absolutely tracks.
Extremely fair.
As you all file downstairs, you find... oh, go ahead.
Oh, this was going to be an after we get downstairs thing, so go for it.
As you all file down the stairs, you find a tabaxi, dressed in clean, nice leathers. Obviously, like, middle-level quality. She is wearing... she has two long, curved blades on her hips. And is wearing a blue silk scarf over hair? Not quite sure. Most tabaxi don't have hair, so hard to tell. And she's sitting at the bar. She appears to be chatting with Kalindra and drinking... She is not drinking coffee. That is an experience.
She's drinking milk?
She is drinking a glass of milk, yes.
Love it.
Kitty.
Corinne gives her a quick wave and then heads out to the stables to get the horses ready.
Grim just walks straight into the kitchen, straight into the kitchen to make coffee.
Lenya will sit down with Bones and Kalindra. Good morning.
Good morning.
Corinne is going to get the horses ready. I can help her, but first I want to ask, how experienced of a rider are you?
Right, yeah, horses. Let's just say that I have ridden one once.
All right. They are all very gentle horses, Corinne has assured us, and she knows her horses very well. So we'll make sure that you get one of the more one of the easier ones in the bunch.
That's good, because the last time I rode a horse, it was not a horse, it was a druid that was a horse.
See, these are horses.
Yeah, so I feel like that will probably be different.
Probably.
Yeah.
Probably. I've never ridden a druid in horse shape. Yeah, I imagine that would be different.
Yeah, he's also kind of a robot, so.
A robot?
Oh, Warforged, I think is the right word for it. We just all jokingly call him a robot.
Does Eliana know about Warforged?
You can roll a history or arcana or survival. I'm gonna set the DC at about. I'm gonna go with 12 because they're not super common, but you are in Waterdeep, so.
Okay, that's a natural 19.
Okay, yeah, you know about Warforged.
Oh, Warforged. Yeah, I've just never heard them called robots before.
Yeah, no, I don't know where it started. I think it was probably Verdi or something.
All right, well, I will help with the horses and come back here for a bite to eat and some tea.
Wonderful.
And Lenya exits stage whichever way the stables are.
Easy enough to find Corinne in the stables?
Lenya will start helping out and let Corinne know Bones isn't a very experienced rider, so we'll want to make sure that she gets one of the horses on the gentler side. I know that's all of them, but
No, not Duncan. I'll take Duncan then.
right.
He can be a bit temperamental.
Well, so you'll take Duncan. Grim will take Heather.
Let's give her Pomelo. Pomelo's really docile.
And then I'll take Frisia.
Excellent.
Hello, Frisia. Montage?
Montage.
Yeah, Grim, it's easy enough to finish cooking breakfast. Bones does not enter your kitchen, unlike some unruly house guests that seem to come into your kitchen. And you see that she seems to be writing in a journal as you come back out.
So through the tavern space into the stables, skids to a halt, holds it out to Corinne.
Thank you. Takes it, continues doing whatever appropriate action it is to get a horse ready to go.
Oh yeah, no.
I don't know.
Grim will also help getting the horses fed. The mud
With-
knocked off, tack on.
Corinne will take a look and notice that all three of them are Is Noad in there with Bones?
I believe Kalindra was with her.
I do need to. I'll go back. I was meaning to leave a note for Kiss in case she comes back while we're gone.
We'll be seeing her along the way.
Oh,
Like calling, like leaning down, cleaning, picking out horse feet, calling over their shoulder, over the stall door, so they're not looking at Eliana right now.
so no note then.
Unless you want it to be here when she gets back. I don't know if she'll be coming back after she meets with us. But
Oh, no.
you will be seeing her first.
No, it was just in case she comes back to the call to find a tavern without any of us in it. Okay.
She won't be surprised.
No. Good.
So shall I go back to the tavern then?
I'm still going back. You can come too. Of course.
Looks at Grim. Grim, do you think you can handle taking up all the horses on your own? Or would you like some assistance?
There's a long pause, like a soft thud as Grim sets down the foot of the whatever horse they were cleaning, and will like walk over to the stall door, lean on it, studying her. Is that a challenge or is that a sincere offer or both?
I mean, it's both.
Okay. How well behaved are the horses this morning?
Almost,
Or how well behaved does Grim think the horses are, which that may be a different question.
Duncan seems a little feisty, but the others seem relatively chill.
Grim will like look up and down the stalls, will like lean out over the stall door and point at Duncan. I will save that one for you. I think I can handle the others.
Oh, you're so generous.
I know. And we'll duck back into the stall.
At which point Corinne will head back to the tavern. Just a quick check with Lenny to see if she wants to come with her at that moment or will follow.
I think Lenya's doing a Corinne and she's already going.
Delightful. So head back to the head back to the tavern then, leaving Grim to the devices with the horses.
Grim did also, point of order, one apple in each no, they have the haversack, because the haversack can carry any number of things. So Grim has definitely, while the coffee was back, as well as like going down to the cellar and grabbing like a whole bag of wholesale bag of sugar cubes.
Mm-hmm.
And is definitely shamelessly bribing the horses. Not like the second, not while the other two are there, but the second the others leave, Grim dumps like 2 apples and a handful of sugar cubes into each horse's feed bucket. Like throws them into Duncan, like not at Duncan, but like stands back and like pitches them into Duncan's stall. But the second the other two are out, Grim has bribed all the horses.
I don't know if I know fuck all about horses, but I feel like Duncan thinks it's a fun game, and is now trying to catch the apples as they were in air.
Amazing.
Heather gobbles hers down immediately and is already trying to find Grim's pockets to check to make sure that was all of that. Yeah. And Eliana, you enter
This is more friendliness than Grim had bargained for, and they were a little uncomfortable with it.
And Eliana, you're the first person in to see Bones. Kalindra is kind of behind the bar, like, cleaning things down, doing inventory, kind of making notes here and there. It looks like Bones is pretty well into So she has a journal out, and then she has a small, like, chart out, and is looking at the journal and then writing in her... looking at the chart and then writing in her journal, and, like, looking at the chart and writing in her journal.
Okay. I think Lenya's going to try to take a look at what Bones is writing.
Sure. What languages do you speak?
Common, Elvish, Sylvan, Draconic, and Halfling.
Okay. It almost makes sense. So you look at it, and you kind of have to stare at it for a moment, because it's written in Draconic.
Mm-hmm.
Like, the letters are Draconic. But the words themselves are Elvish? But not just Elvish. Like, every couple of words you kind of run into something that is not Elvish. Hard to put where they are, though. It looks like at least some of it might be Dwarven. Oh, we lost Hannah.
Oh, they were having audio delay
okay.
stuff.
So it looks like it's written in Dwarven... it's written in Draconic lettering. It's actually in Elvish, but not completely in Elvish.
Interesting.
And it appears to be fairly dry. Like, this is mostly, like, you catch, like, moon cycle, some, like, weather information, like, when, what the weather is today. Like, it's fall, so it'll be, like, cold, 54 degrees, clear, that sort of thing.
Mm-hmm.
Then you get chunked into it, and every once in a while you spot a curse word that doesn't seem to make sense in context. But it appears she's writing some extensive notes in some sort of code, ?
Yeah, so I think she's suspecting that this is a cipher.
Sure. Are you gonna look at the chart she has?
Yeah.
Sure. Roll an Arcana or History check.
Mm-hmm. Okay, that is a... Let's check my modifiers. Okay, that's a 19.
19.
Arcana.
So this is a 5-day chart, it looks like, which lists a lot of information in a very clear, very precise handwriting. That is not Bones, but it's different than Bones' handwriting. It's talking about moon cycle, barometric pressure. It's definitely got the tides in, tides out situation. Some of the information she's copying over seems to be from this chart. This seems to be like her source material for like all these tiny little details.
Okay. Yeah, so she'll sit back down again. And I think probably just small talk.
She looks up at you and smiles, and you notice that as she looks up at you and smiles, she does not look away from what she is writing.
Yeah. Yeah, which means Lenya looks down at the writing again before looking back at Bones.
Sure. It seems to be the traffic conditions in Waterdeep this morning.
You starting up a daily newspaper?
Something like that. I have found the devil can be in the details when it comes to investigations and catching bad guys. So I tend to take far too many notes, and it's better to have too much than too little when it comes to information.
It is.
Also, it means like when my superiors piss me off, I can bore them to absolute tears with a 50-page report for a, I don't know, minor theft.
You have superiors?
I
I'd thought that inquisitors worked more independently.
We do, but we still have to answer to someone.
Yes.
So, yeah, no, good to have all of the details, because you never know when someone's going to be like, you couldn't have seen me, it was too rainy that night, and then I'll be able to be like, no, actually, it was a clear night with good moonshine, because it was a full moon, and...
Yeah. Yeah, it's good to know these things. I don't have as much of a head for details, but, well, we're all good at different things.
That's very true. I found that if you're traveling in a party, it's good to have a bunch of people who are good at different things, otherwise... Overlapping skills are a pain in the ass, really.
They can be. And then you don't have the skill, and then there might be a skill you need that nobody has.
Exactly. You end up with 3 people trying to lead you through the forest, and nobody who can, I don't know, patch a wound.
Well, that's something I can do. Patch the wound.
Well, that's good.
I don't know who's gonna lead us through the forest, though. Might be me. Goodness. Am I really? I might be. Unless it's Grim. But they know water and they know the city. Have I really spent more time in the forest than either of them? I guess so.
Well, I can help a bit with that. I've done some ranging here and there as part of my job.
It'll be good to have you. Yeah, I adventured my way up from to here with a job here, a job there, going mostly north all the while, and so you go through some forests on a trip that's that long.
Oh, I bet. My trip was a bit more watery.
Yeah. And a bit more trying not to be found.
And a bit more trying not to be found.
Mm.
And then being found.
Yes.
But it worked out well.
Did.
So, how does your lot know Ilya?
Oh, we provided some help to the Court of Miracles not that long ago. Rescued her, actually.
Oh, that's quite impressive.
More so, well, now that I know Ilya better, I'm surprised we had the opportunity to rescue her at all.
Well, she's a calculating sort. Even she knows when she needs more allies.
That's true.
Corinne,
Yeah.
you've probably come in at this time. Oh, sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off.
Oh, it's okay. And Lenya will just add as Corinne is coming in, and she's been good to us ever since.
She's like that.
Corinne comes in with coffee mug in hand, kind of like leans a little harder into the door than is strictly necessary. Like, just takes a beat in the doorway, like just leaning into the door before moving into the tavern space itself, and heading behind the bar to toast some bread. Looks at Bones. Are you a morning person?
Aggressively so.
My condolences.
I also don't sleep very much, so.
Again, my condolences. Have you eaten?
My dietary restrictions are a bit, they can be a bit, well, restrictive. I ate before I came.
Very good.
I have some pretty excessive food allergies, so.
Oh. What sort of? Do we need to pack anything specific?
Oh, no, not like if I'm around it, but like if I eat something with like grapes or wine in it, I get terribly sick.
Corinne just stares at Bones for a few beats. Once more, I am ever so sorry.
It's okay. They make booze with potatoes now.
Oh God, why?
Vodka.
Exactly.
Ben, why? I've never understood vodka.
Well, in case you want to drink something that's purely alcoholic and that makes you want to, doesn't taste like anything, it just tastes like alcohol. So if that's your thing, if you just want to get really drunk really quickly and have it taste like nothing at all.
Except pure alcohol.
I feel like I'm starting to understand Alina better.
Alina's crazy. I love her, but she's crazy.
She has.
She tried to sneak vegetables into my food once. That was a fun time for her.
Oh no.
Do you not? Is that also an allergy, or is that just a preference?
Somewhere in between.
Well then.
Vegetables are truly an abomination.
I should mention that she is here now, but she's not a morning person, so
I'm aware.
Don't know if yes. So I don't know if we'll be seeing her.
It just caught me by surprise. We're friends now. It just was not expecting to see Ilya and Alina.
Yes.
Corinne catches a glance at what Bones is writing, which is working on, and she just goes, "What's that?"
Oh, reports so I can put together, when I need to put together my big formal briefing, I can be as thorough as possible.
Oh. How thorough is thorough?
She kind of grins, and it's got a mischievous glint to it. She's like, depends on how much Neurixius has pissed me off.
Oh.
What was that name?
Neurixius.
That was an out of character.
Sure. Yep.
So
I will type it in chat.
thank you.
Neurixius.
Many thanks.
Thank you.
Ah. So malicious compliance, I see.
Basically, yeah, no, yeah, sometimes I just drown him in information if he's really pissed me off.
Mm-hmm. No, I know that strategy very well. Comes in very handy at events where you need to make an appearance, but you really don't care for the individuals there, so you make yourself as boring as possible.
Yes. I tend to do this with my formal arcane papers when I'm dealing with Reg, and his secretary is a piece of work. So occasionally I just send him like just sheaths on sheaths on sheaths of historical information, and then his secretary has to dig through all of it to find the nuggets of gold.
Is that more painful for him or her secretary, though?
So his secretary is usually the one that pissed me off.
Ah. That does make a difference.
And it sends a very clear message. Nothing says, you have pissed me off, like a 35-page paper on the history of... What was it? Jaggies? I think it was Jaggies. 35-page history paper on the... Yeah. History, eating habits, mating habits of the greater Jaggy. All sorts.
Gods, please don't go into any more detail. I'm already not a morning person. This is not helping.
Secretaries clerks escalate when they're upset.
Yes.
What is a jaggy?
It's like a dinosaur monster. Hard to explain. They're really common on to call. But yeah, like kind of small. Imagine a chicken. But instead of it being a small bird, it's a large lizard.
That's not a chicken.
No. Just as annoying as chickens, though.
Like Linnell laughs. I still...
She holds
Dinosaurs are real.
Yes. She actually goes in her journal and she flips back through it, and she flips back farther than this journal has pages, and then opens it up to a picture of a Jaggy. Let me get a picture and I'll post it to chat.
It should be fun.
Images.
Let me check. Am I delayed? I guess you can't tell if I'm not responding to anyone.
You sound good.
I've heard you speak.
Awesome. So. Thank you.
I'm trying to find a good picture of a Jaggy now.
Throughout this part of the conversation, Corinne is just staring blankly at Bones. As soon as the word, like, dinosaur-type creature was uttered.
I'm so sad that Grim isn't seeing this happening. But Hannah's delighted.
Oh, here it is. Imagine this, but, like, sketchier.
It's so cute.
That's not real.
Frills.
They look like they're yelling.
Those aren't real.
Definitely are real. Definitely are invasive species, not to call. I've definitely murdered a lot of them for money.
What the fuck are those?
Jaggy.
But you say that as that helps me to understand what you're talking about.
They are a type of dinosaur that are not actually native to Tikal, like other dinosaurs are native to Tikal. They were imported to hunt for sport and became an invasive species.
I guess not enough people were hunting them for sport?
They breed worse than rabbits, really.
I only just started to realize recently that dinosaurs were real. This is a lot. I thought that they were just dragons.
No, definitely a different thing altogether. Fought a dragon once. It was kind of a pain.
At least it's not dragons.
No.
Moving all over the island and breeding worse than rabbits.
No, and we only had the one while I was there, so.
The one dragon?
One dragon.
Oh. What kind?
Black dragon. He was a dick.
Oh, I've heard about those. Not nice.
Yeah, no, he, he, he turned into a human sometimes, but, mostly he was just a giant walking dick. And, took over the city. Alina got the killing blow on him. It was actually rather cool. Put her sword right through his skull while they were both in midair. Crashed into the sea, had to be pulled out of the ocean. Finally came to, and she said, she made a crack about how falling from heaven. So, I mean,
Of course she did. That is the stuff of a ballad.
she, I believe, actually said quite literally, I can confirm that it does in fact hurt when I fall from the heavens.
You never asked, though.
Yeah, no.
It doesn't work unless you ask.
I don't know. Turn the healer like 15 different shades of pink, so.
From the sunburn?
Definitely from the flirting.
Nah.
No.
I'm gonna go feed this cat.
Sure. Grim, you finished.
Rin, meanwhile, has fled to the kitchen.
Corinne is not ready for the story is about to call.
Nope. Basically, like,
more-
as soon as Lenny started asking more questions, I'm just like, this is early. I'm only just learning about dinosaurs. Corinne was just like, nope. Nope. Not hearing this.
Morning is bad enough. Morning plus dinosaurs is just cannot be borne.
There's a lot being asked right now.
Oh. Grim, I would assume that you finish up with the horses and about this is when you come back in.
We'll step in, look around. I think looks around, sees everyone, doesn't see Corinne, and heads up to her room, assuming she has gone back to bed. Gets there. She did not, since she was in the kitchen, unless something strange happened. I assume she is not actually in her room currently.
Nope.
Okay. Spends probably, like, not a long time, but definitely a couple of minutes poking around just in case she has gone back to bed or a lounging surface or something. Like, has she decided to, like, hide? Like, I imagine that her bathtub is fairly comfortable. Like has she gone back to bed in a way that makes her harder to find? Eventually decides they have exhausted the possibilities. Also peeks in the library. Then will wander
you peek
back
in the library?
downstairs. Yeah. Oh yeah. Peek in the library.
Alina is in the library. She has passed out on one of the couches there. Kiss of a Vengeance Paladin open on her chest. Clearly sleeping in the middle of reading it.
Does she, like Grim will like there's the moment of, oh, is that Corinne? There was the moment of, definitely not. There was the moment of, I should get out of here. I mean, Alina, if she's asleep, I assume was noticing none of this. Then there is the sort of like starts to pull back the door, pause, looks back in. Does she is she sleeping? Does she look comfortable enough?
She looks comfortable enough. Like,
okay.
But in that way that, like, cats can kind of curl up in really weird-ass positions but still be apparently super comfortable. Like, she definitely, like, has, like, one leg over the back of the couch. And another foot, like, flat on the floor. And has somehow, like, half-twisted herself. But she appears to be comfortable. She just also appears to take up as much room on this couch as physically possible.
Grim respects this. And will, like after confirming that they don't like need to intervene in any way, will like back out of the library, close the door quietly behind themselves, and pad back down into the tavern space.
Alina grows to fill the space of whatever she has put in. She is the sort of person who can take up a whole California king bed by herself, despite being like 5'3".
It's all about the stretch. And sort of pause at the bottom of the stairs, again, rescanning the tavern. Have we lost Corinne?
Oh, she went to the kitchen.
She fled that way when talk turned to dinosaurs.
There was a long pause and a blink that is not visible. I don't know what anybody's passive is behind their bangs and iPads. The expression is definitely of like long pause. Grim's expression goes a bit blank, and then like just it resolves into just a delighted grin. And will trot into the kitchen, glancing at everyone's the cup of milk, Eliana's mug of tea. I don't know what Kalinger is drinking, but basically Grim is on the way there. Grim is looking to see if anyone needs a refill, and then we'll move into poke their head into the kitchen. Is Corinne there?
She is there. Yes.
What is she doing?
She is staring at the wall in front of the coffee pot.
Just standing there.
Yep. Mug's completely full, but just kind of staring, like studying very intently the knobs and settings of the coffee pot itself.
Let me roll a performance check. Good job. Grim is trying to school their expression back to gentle sympathy, but that performance check is an 8. So
no.
It's not going well.
Nope.
We'll just walk over behind her, loop their arms around her neck, rest their chin on her shoulder. Now you know how I felt.
Blinks a couple times. Just is quiet for a minute. And then eventually does finally take a sip of her coffee. Just, smug ass.
Just sort of nods on her shoulder, leans the side of their head against the side of her head, and just sort of gives her a hug. And is quiet. There is no further taunting at this moment in time. We'll hold on for a few moments, and then let go and take a step back. Nope, that's a 7. That's worse. It's really the effort not to look delighted is visible, but not convincing.
Yeah. She turns around when they let go, very clearly clocks their delight. Just tilts her head to one side. Is it going to be this way the whole way to the hand school?
Do you mean this, gesturing at their face, and points out towards the tavern space?
Mostly this, and kind of drawing a circle indicating their face. In the air.
We'll keep trying. I hope not.
It's probably deserved.
Probably, but still. I will keep trying. I believe the horses are ready, other than the large one.
Okay, good. And she immediately beelines for the stables. Pressing her mug into Grim's hands as she leaves.
On the way out, Lenya will ask, do you have any I'd like to take something decently alcoholic with us, what would be acceptable to take? And she looks at Corinne and then she looks at Kalendra.
It's what? Well, it's alcohol keeps very well. I'm not sure I understand the question.
Kalindra blinks for a moment, thinks, nods, climbs up on a stool and like reaches to like a back of a shelf and pulls out a bottle with a script in Draconic on it. I mean, she mentioned she was into call. This doesn't have any wine in it, so.
Oh. Where did you get this?
It's been here for ages.
Well, I guess, yeah. Well, thank you. I was more so thinking if we wanted to take something, but that, I don't want to take something that's in high demand at the bar. No, Rum, you need that for the flaming drinks.
Oh, yeah, no one asks for Tej.
All right. Maybe I'll try that.
You've heard of Tej. It is a fairly popular drink in not like super popular, but think like brandy here.
Okay. So similar flavor profile to that?
No, Tej is a honey wine like mead, but it has like a fairly high alcohol content, 7 to 11%. And it has like a shrub in it called gesho.
I'll revise the answer then to something like, I guess I'm old enough to drink this now.
Bones, who's kind of sitting back and had closed her book. Good choice. Tej is great.
Yeah, my father did seem to like it.
Corinne kind of looks at Kalindra's like, how do you know what it is?
She runs the bar.
Well, yes, but that's one thing. There's another thing to know kind of the contents.
I study bar stuff when you guys aren't here. You know that, right? Like,
yes.
If you want to be the best bar, you kind of got to know stuff.
Well, obviously.
So, like...
Grim, gives her one finger gun from the kitchen doorway.
So, I mean, this bottle has been here, I think, since, practically since we opened, because we ordered, a bunch of stuff, but...
No, from an inventory perspective, that makes sense. Alright.
Why are we bringing... I am not opposed. Reaches back and taps their haversack, which, as everyone except maybe Bones would know, is full of wine bottles. But why? This is not a complaint or an argument, but why?
Well, I was just thinking about Kior and being stuck in that bar with terrible worm whiz. I don't want to wind up in that. I don't want to wind up in that situation.
Grim nods slowly and approvingly.
Right, I'm gonna go finish the horses.
And then it will be time to go.
Indeed. No one has made breakfast, for the record, Grim.
Oh, I was very busy trying to win. All right, I'll get on that. Ducks back into the kitchen.
Corinne heads back outside to finish up with Duncan.
It's easy enough. Bones will head outside to follow you to the horses.
So we're going to give you this one. Her name's Pomelo. She's very gentle. I trained her myself. As long as you've got apples, bribery, any of them will be your best friend. Heather particularly is very fond of them. But, yeah, they're all reasonably gentle. You should be fine.
Bones has curious cat ears in the stables. Her ears are, pricked up, and her tail is kind of like twitchy, but in like a what is this sort of way. You get the feeling that maybe she's not great at hiding her body language. As she does approach Pomelo, and to give face rubs, which Pomelo allows. She's chill horse.
Mm-hmm.
This will be fun. I don't leave the city a lot, especially these days. Not since we moved to Waterdeep. Well,
How long have you been in Waterdeep for?
Well, I was here for a while as a kid, and, well, wasn't really making my way or doing anything of consequence. Got picked up, well, first by my father, Thorak, and then later by Ilya, to be kind of an apprentice. Then I went adventuring with Alina for a bit. Alina had to come back, of course, and I met a gentleman. Stayed in Tikal for a while, but his studies pulled him back to Waterdeep, so I followed.
Ilya does have a way of collecting a herd, doesn't she?
Oh yeah, that's a Luskin thing.
Well, she's found good ones so far.
Luskins will adopt a potted plant if you leave it alone too long.
Oh, well, to my knowledge, we don't have any of those that she's referred us to. But I suppose there's always the possibility.
But yeah, no, Alina and I went adventuring in Tikal for probably 2 years.
DM question, where is Tikal?
Sure.
It's another continent.
Another question, does Corinne know where Tikal is? Because I feel like the answer is probably not.
Survival, or, I mean, you could pick a check and roll it as to whether or not. I'm trying to figure out where Tikal is on the Sword Coast. Is Tikal even on the Sword Coast?
I think it's a different continent.
Yeah, it's definitely a different continent.
Yeah, Corinne almost definitely has not like
about those.
Nope. She probably has heard about it like in the sense of like it's been a setting of like a fairy tale or something like that.
It
and
has
so
definitely been trying to figure out like Forgotten Realms. That's what I'm looking for. So to call Forgotten Realms. I would like a map of the Forgotten Realms. Yes, please, thank you. Sorry, now I'm curious because I know it.
Yeah.
I know that they're from the same universe, but it's definitely south. So I mean, I think at this point, Corinne knows as much as Heather does in that. It's definitely south and an island. And
Okay.
it's definitely... You know that one of their major imports is sugar and cotton.
Grim is listening.
Sugar and cotton.
Okay.
But that's kind of what you know. Some like there's crazy stories about Tikal, and most of them you kind of had just assumed were
like just fairy tales,
like about dinosaur races and like jungles filled with cat people and
that's people make that stuff up.
Something called Leonin, which are giant lion-shaped people, which are different than normal tabaxi somehow, and just that sort of thing. Like Tikal, going to Tikal is probably like the equivalent of like fell off the face of the earth too. Like people join the Black Dragon Commission and go to Tikal to disappear. It's very much like, I think like Corinne would have probably picked up a couple of whispers about someone being involved in like a scandal and then joining the commission and going to Tikal.
I wonder if she may have thought that going to Tikal was a
euphemism? Probably.
Yeah.
I probably did, yes.
I love it.
Yeah, like Tikal's not like
Not a real place. It's like
yeah. Perfect.
It's like when you
perfect.
go visit your spinster aunt for 9 months. Like
Yeah, exactly.
right. So that is what Corinne knows about Tikal, and probably know what Grim knows about Tikal too. Less about the scandal and the going to call euphemism, but
Can I roll my own thing?
Yeah, you
Because I
can.
feel like Grimm, with their love of adventure stories, might have
Yeah,
a
you might
slightly
have
different
more.
set. But let's find out. Dirty 20.
Dirty 20. Yeah, so you know Tikal is a real place. You have definitely heard adventure stories and fantasy stories that take place in Tikal. You know about the ancient lich Sararak, who
Oh, good.
was a bad guy, and is known to be like the bad guy in Tikal. You know that they have it's dinosaur races, and there's dinosaurs, and there's you hadn't heard of these jaggy things before, but I think Grim missed that part of the conversation anyway.
Yeah.
There's ancient legends about them being separated from the Feywild, and not like Fey magic doesn't work there, which is interesting in different ways.
Oh, interesting.
Oh, and you know about the giant sea turtle Aramag. It's a giant dragon turtle.
Delightful. Well, Grim is in the kitchen making like egg based breakfast burritos. But I'm delighted.
Yes. Also, for some reason that Grim can't quite remember, the idea of a paladin of the Raven Queen being into Call is pinging as weird, but you're not quite sure why.
Delightful.
It's probably fine.
Super fine.
Liches and bitches. Alright, but yeah, that's what you guys know about Tikal.
Delightful.
Actually, baseline, Eliana, you probably know a little bit more about Tikal, being from
Yeah.
You know more about their trade. They're a hub of adventures. Like a lot of like scientists go there to explore ancient ruins, things like that.
Okay.
It's not owned by the Black Dragon Commission, but they're the discoverers of the Isle, quote unquote. So there's some debate about like how, like a lot of local debate about how much the locals own the island versus how much like the Black Dragon Commission owns the island. And
colonialism.
Colonialism, yay!
Yeah, since Om's a colonial power.
Oh yeah.
Oof.
Yep.
So, yeah. They're probably pro Black Dragon Commission just taking it over. Making sure everything gets used and properly used.
And sold.
And sold. You've definitely had coconuts from Tikal before.
Another thing that she misses about life.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Southern. Another thing she misses about life in more southerly climates.
So as Bones is describing, like, oh, Alina and I went to call or whatever. Wait, people do people actually go there?
Generally, yeah. Mostly
Why?
For the coconuts.
I mean, the coconuts are really good. Mostly to study, it's the birthplace of, like, Draconic as a language. It's one of the only places on the Earth that has, like, serious, like, active speakers of Draconic. Not common like we speak common. The common languages of the mainland, of course. But actual Draconic is their common language there.
You're getting me interested in actually going there.
It is a lovely place. It's amazing. I miss it greatly because it is actually my home. But would caution against a lot of people going there. It does take us. I mean, you're from so the heat won't bother you. It's dangerous though, and dirty, and not kind to outsiders. Though it's fun to watch the outsiders all break for the first year. I think Alina was about to burst into flames most of the time we were there.
Gods.
Oh, thankfully we found this wonderful, wonderful herbalist. I'm pretty sure she's a hag, but she made the most amazing sunscreen.
Huh.
Can Grim walk in with a bag of breakfast burritos
Yes.
just about the time that she's saying, I think she's a hag.
Yes. I think she's a hag. She made the most amazing sunscreen, and Grim's like,
walks in with a oilskin bag of breakfast. Like I think they probably have them like on a platter because they're going to hand them out. But they're all wrapped up for travel. People will eat them immediately, and sort of hold out the platter of wrapped up breakfast burritos to the group. Does Ilya know
that she was probably a hag? Yeah. But who else was going to give her sunscreen?
Inclines their head in acknowledgement. That's fair.
Also, she didn't eat any kids or anything. The giant monster under the trash pit ate kids, but we fixed that.
So, the horses are ready. We are doing an awful lot of talking and not a lot of moving.
Fair enough.
Take your burrito and then we'll go.
Grabs it in hand, goes to collect Duncan.
And Grim will grudgingly,
Bones.
not grudgingly, go into pull Heather's bridle off the front of the stall and step in to bridle her again, offer slipping her a sugar cube with the bit.
Bones takes a burrito.
Grim will. Oh, Grim didn't hear any of the conversation about theology, so has no reaction to this.
And she'll kind of sniff it, and she'll go, "Are there vegetables in this?"
Would there be vegetables? I think. Let's see. I think Naka's Grim was doing fast. Not this morning. Tortilla and egg.
Great. Bread and egg, I can do. Thanks.
You're welcome, I think.
She's got allergies, and also vegetables are bad, and also there was another thing. Oh, she can't drink wine or eat grapes. And the look on Corinne's face as she says those words.
Heartbroken.
Yeah.
Corinne.
Yeah.
Bones will never truly know Corinne because she cannot drink wine.
Grim's just gonna drop into Awakened's mind. To Corinne, you have had a morning, haven't you?
You just kind of looks plaintively at them in response.
Oh. Can Grim send a feeling like fresh cut grass?
Sure.
Via Awakened Mind?
Yeah,
just no words, just sympathy.
Yeah. Coffee's a bad idea too, but not for any allergy reasons, just because, so I've tried coffee. It was not pleasant for the other people involved.
Dear.
All right, I believe we are going before standing here in Corinne's way becomes hazardous to all of our health.
Yes, let's go. Onward.
Yeah, as you all mount your horses.
Grim definitely doesn't is able to scramble up, but it's not graceful.
Bones
and they look decidedly uncomfortable.
Nice.
Even though they're not that high off the ground because Heather is a pony.
Bones is graceful but eccentric, as she definitely also scrambles onto a horse. Does not appear to be she hops kind of half like onto the horse, full tilt, but more in like a circus clown sort of way, like like the way a rogue or way a cat would jump on a horse, having never seen a cat like a horse. Like it is definitely like, oh, I didn't know I was supposed to put my foot in the thing.
Rin is just watching this from atop Duncan. Like her mouth is like a little bit open, and like occasionally there's like you might never mind, and then just like puts a hand over her mouth, like biting back the instinct to try and like offer assistance.
I mean, she does it in one move, so it's very graceful. It's just not conventional. Like, she does end up facing the correct way on a horse, like she's seen a picture of someone riding a horse before.
That's a good start. How's Eliana doing?
Lenya gets on. She's ridden plenty of horses before, like not like Corinne level. Not like Corinne level. She didn't come from a horse family, but she adventured up and down the Sword Coast, and with that came with riding a variety of horses. So.
Oh yeah. And does have a horse culture. Yeah, does have a horse culture. It's just slightly different than a Waterdavian horse culture.
Delightful.
Yeah, there were horses at her mom's family's country house.
So what does that
I'm
mean?
rolling a stealth check to see if Grim can slip Heather a sugar cube once mounted without anyone noticing, but that's a 14.
Everybody notices.
So it's less everyone notices you and more everyone notices Heather just like being making super happy mouth noises.
Corinne just looks at Grim and is like, that's good. She does love a good bribe.
We have that in common. Like, very tentatively pats the side of Heather's neck. And is not going to be the first one to ride off, so that's all on y'all.
Yeah, Corinne will be the first one.
Yeah.
Yeah, Corinne will lead.
Well, I guess Lenya's second in marching order then.
Yeah, at this point, like, as long as everyone is on their horse, Corinne is like, okay, my job is done. Y'all are on your own from now on.
Yeah, Bones is looking at the horse like, go? But thankfully Corinne, because she's ridden a horse before, but it was a robot. So thankfully Corinne, does the, little snap in the reins and, gets going, which is like, oh, a clue to the people who are not horse people.
Pomelo and Heather just follow along.
Probably. It's like being led on a pony ride. Like, you don't actually get to tell the horse orders. It just follows what
they just know the follow the horse in front of them.
Yep. I'm just thrilled over the idea of Corinne mounts the horse like a pro. Eliana mounts the horse like a normal human being. Grim mounts the horse tentatively, but fine. Bones jumps on a horse.
Like cat.
Like
Pomelo is a good egg indeed, as Gentle premised.
Yep.
Heather might be hungry and Pomelo might be lazy.
I respect these. These are good choices. I think Grim is going to, once we're underway, is going to cast Sending to Kiss.
Mm-hmm.
Because I remember that she mentioned having fast transport. And so she was by the Nightstone Forest, I believe. Let me double check that. Nightstone Forest. So this will be an easy sending. So it's they will as they're riding, by which I mean following. They will cast Sending to Kiss. It's just on our way north. Where should we meet you?
Sorry, now I'm looking at my map going, where did I put these things? Nightstone Forest. Oh, yeah, right there. Derp.
Oh, that's close.
Yeah, it's real close.
Yeah.
She was not that far out of the city. There's a settlement called Nightstone. I can meet you there. Trying to remember if Kiss has an accent now. And blanking. It's been a week.
I don't think she. I don't
she did.
feel
I
like
think
she did strongly.
I think I made her before I actually got brave with it accents. So no, she. Oh, I remember her voice now. Sorry. It's. I can meet you at the Nightstone settlement. There's a little place there.
Oh, and now Grim is wishing that they had said, just tell us and I won't respond, because now they feel like they need to use their other spell slot. They will. Because they hate it, but they will. How about how far away is that? Like an hour or so? Let's see. Distance and time.
I think so. Let's see. Show distance and time. I think we're looking at the same map, so.
Yeah, I think so. Sort of more west than north.
2 days. What? That doesn't make any sense. We need to, like, clear all, please.
Mhm.
There we are. Waterdeep to Nightstone. 54 miles. Why would they include how quickly a dragon can make it, but not how quickly a horse can make it?
On foot fast, probably.
Yeah, which is a day in 6 hours.
So a day.
Yeah.
Okay.
And y'all are, yeah. So yeah, a day.
Okay, and that's I'm assuming the same sort of the ballpark of where we need to be for the Caring Hand School, not a totally different direction.
No, you guys needed to go. I should have taken.
Because we need to be back there we need to be there and back in fairly quick
Right.
order to be back for the fundraiser.
I think that I said
I know that was north.
north. Is it in the Sword Mountains?
So it's more like high road and less long road?
Highway along the coast, long road.
Long road up
Away from
to
the coast,
Amphale,
yeah.
which is about where the Caring Hands School is.
Oh, good memory.
Where did I say the Caring Hand School was? Just because my notes are
Near Amphale?
About the vicinity of Amphale.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah,
My notes
it's
were
two red dots up the long road. Up the right hand branch
okay,
of the
perfect.
right below where it says mountains and
Yeah,
Soy
so
Mountains.
Nightstone's a little out of your way, but not like aggressively out of your way.
Okay, so like could get there and then get up to the school in a day-ish, and then back to Waterdeep before the fundraiser, plausibly.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Awesome. Then this detour through time and space, which are both meaningless, as is everything. Then Grim, before so Kiss respond, they can meet you with a nice little settlement. Grim will sort of to the rest of the group. Kiss is about a day to the west. Shall we meet her there, and then head north? Sounded like she might have information.
All right.
Or should we? I can ask her to. Or I can ask her to meet us along the way.
Do you require a nap before you ask her again?
Not yet. After. I will have a very relaxing sleep on this very tame horse you have selected for me. Without without much conviction.
I think let's meet her there. I think it's easier.
Agreed.
So then sending again to Kiss. We'll be there tomorrow. Where can we find you?
I'll stay at the
That's all.
tavern. I'll stay at the tavern at the settlement. You don't need to reply to this message.
And they do not. Because they can't, even if they wanted to. And we'll relay that to the group, as well as the directions to navigate towards Nightstone.
Very good. And Corinne immediately heads off in that direction.
I like this horse. It is a much better ride than Karn.
What is Khan your robot?
Yes. He is Karn.
Well, I would assume so if that's his name.
For the first, 4 months after meeting him, all he could really say was, I am Karn, with different levels of emoting.
Oh no. Was it actually? How does that even work? How does one emote if one is not technically feeling?
She kind of grins a little bit. I am Karn? I am Karn. I am Karn.
And just kind of stares for a couple seconds, just like,
Yeah.
right.
I got really good at interpreting him. Alina did not.
I can understand why.
That is a lot of subtlety for Alina.
Alina spent most of her time in... It was not... I'm not surprised she hasn't mentioned it. She spent most of her time getting sunburned and getting pickpocketed.
She's mentioned the sunburns.
Though
Not into college, just sunburns in general.
Yeah. Though she didn't seem to mind the getting pickpocketed so much.
I believe that.
Hmm.
I suppose it's when one doesn't really need their own petty cash and can very easily convince someone else of how well spent their cash would be on them. I could see that.
It takes all the fun out of stealing things from her pocket, though.
Grim will call up from where I imagine Heather has fallen a bit behind the group. Speaking of...
Yep.
Hold on. There's a sort of a long pause, and anyone who looks back can see Grim visibly stealing themselves and pony kicking Heather a little bit to get her to trot just enough to catch up with the group. Like a kid on a pony, heels out to the side and not obviously not hurting her because she's a horse and
Oh yeah.
Grim is scared. like visible effort to
Come
be
on.
like, I
Do
do
the
want to
thing.
go faster. I am going to
Heather
do the
is
thing to
actually
encourage this horse to go faster.
Yeah, Heather is very agreeable and only requires the suggestion.
Shuffle, shuffle, shuffle up alongside the rest of the group, and then immediately, like, draws rein to make her walk again. Almost immediately starts falling behind because her short little legs are shorter than the big horse's legs. I wondered if we could. I would like to make a donation to the orphanage. Not the hags. If that would be all right with you. The rest of you. Not you, pointing at Bones. You two, pointing at Corinne and Eliana.
Which orphanage?
Which orphanage?
The hags.
I thought you just said not the hags.
She's not really.
Oh, that,
Can't
not the
remember
hags.
her name.
Kara.
Correct.
Karis.
Blinks at Bones for a minute.
I
And then nods.
keep
Points at her.
track. I keep track of my wharf rats. And who feeds
Oh,
them.
Yes, that's right. We did have this conversation. I'm sorry. I'm on a horse. It's very distracting.
It really is.
Refocusing on the other two. She was at the party, the fish party.
Oh. Yeah. If you want to make a donation, I don't see why not.
It's fine. It's all right with me. Clearly amused by Grimm's attempts to wrangle Heather into... like, maybe a little bit pleased at the fact that turnabout is now fair play.
Being extremely fair. All right. Thank you. When we return to the city, I don't know if it will get off the ground, but I don't want her having to rely on fish parties.
No one should ever be required to rely on fish parties.
Jinx. This is really not when we were saying a very similar thing at the same time, but I was holding back for the sake of audio.
Oh, are you talking about Ilray?
Oh, yes.
Yeah.
Grim
yeah.
just nods as Heather drops back a little bit farther.
Yeah, we pieced out of one of his parties. Reg likes to go to such things to make an appearance, but then immediately regrets making that life choice.
It's insufferable.
I definitely
It's quite a lot.
helped him sneak out of that one. He's not very stealthy, but most wizards aren't.
No, he's, how would one put this? He has a lot of feelings.
He really does. He super does. And, Reg immediately wanted to bolt. I think the moment he tried to hug Reg was the moment that Reg decided that this was not going to be a partnership.
Grim makes a small strangled noise.
I have a lot of feelings, so I thought we'd be able to get along, but I don't have a lot of feelings like that.
There's having a lot of feelings, and then there's having a lot of, like, taking up a lot of space feelings-wise.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
It's like someone sucks all the oxygen out of a room.
Yes, he really does do that. I had to take a good several-hour nap after that incident.
And the fish was really ugly.
Well, the new one that was the source of the fish party was lovely, but there was a well, no, apparently it was a bit unsettling. I didn't actually see it.
It,
But I've...
Also, the food was... Yeah, it wasn't good. Also, the food was terrible.
Oh, I
No,
remember
the
that.
tea is aggressively bad.
All vegetables. I asked if there was anything edible, and he said meat is murder. So...
Of course he did.
So
Not to each their own, but...
We had to go.
I never asked Ilya if she knows him, but I feel like she probably hasn't adopted him.
Oh, gods, no. Why?
Ilya has a type. Ilray is not that. Ilya needs someone to have... She needs to see something in them, to see that little strand of strength in them in order to get her interest.
Right.
Ilray does not have a bone in his body. I'm pretty sure. I think it's all cartilage.
I did not need to be thinking about that, thank you.
Is that a seal thing, or is that a... And I know it's an insult, but I'm wondering if it's also... I'm wondering if it's also a seal thing.
No, I've known some pretty hardcore sea elves. I think that was just a him thing.
I think I was more wondering if sea elves literally only have
Oh, no, I'm pretty sure they have bones.
Right. Right. So, what's the most interesting party you've ever been to?
So, after Alina killed the dragon, and, was recovered from the ocean, so the city had been under siege for a little bit, so everyone was really excited to get out of their houses for the first time in about 2 weeks. So literally all of the alcohol on the island was located, and I'm pretty sure almost all of the alcohol on the island was drank. And it was a good night / week. It was a whole thing. We ate like so much Stegosaurus. So much.
Like a...
I think
Is that another kind of dinosaur?
it is, yeah. It's kind of like a cow.
Huh.
Except they're very large and they have plates on their back.
Oh.
Tastes kind of like pork.
I think I need to take some time to keep wrapping my head around the concept of dinosaurs.
Sure. Yeah. I mean, it probably is really weird if you haven't seen them before.
Yeah. I really thought they were the same thing as dragons.
Yeah, no, I think dragons are... Yeah, I'd have to ask Reg. Oh, hold on. And you see her pull out, not her journal, but a different book, and a different pen, and she writes down a question. Closes the book, puts it in her pocket. Well, we'll get an answer by dinner time.
Oh, like...
Do we want to travel?
Do we want to travel?
I was just going to say, do we want to travel montage while everyone deals with the concept of dinosaurs?
After after whatever Lenya says.
Yeah, so what she says is she'll say something cool about two-way notebooks and how she's interested in getting her hands on one of those.
Ooh.
Oh, I might have the hookup for you. Reg, these aren't two-way notebooks, they're two-way pens, but Reg invented them, so.
Oh, that's even better than a two-way notebook.
Yeah.
I don't know why that's better, but it definitely is.
Well, because at some point you run out of paper, right?
Yeah, let's talk about that when we're back in town.
Sure.
Montage?
Montage.
I mean, unless goblins are about to descend on our heads in 2 seconds. But I assume the DM will let us know
No goblins.
if our travel montage is interrupted by events.
No. It's easy day of travel, especially as you head west.
Oh, I think I said west, and I think I meant east, because west is into the sea.
I also
wasn't gonna say it because Corinne doesn't actually know directions that well.
Grim would have used the correct direction.
Grim would have used the correct direction. And even Bones would have been like, you mean what?
Wow. Sorry about that.
Heather has trouble with east and west sometimes, which has been like a recent thing. I usually don't,
but I sure did there.
Usually I don't, but this time, the last year, I feel some stuff slipping, and east and west is one of them.
Extremely fair. So we travel to Nightstone.
I'll say you guys left fairly early in the morning. I'm assuming you're gonna keep a good pace. I'll say that you guys get there by mid to later evening. Probably pulling into town like 7 or 8 o'clock.
Delightful.
Cool.
The thing says it's supposed to take like a whole ass day, but let's not.
It's a travel day. I feel like it's not 24 hours.
Yeah.
Delightful.
Right,
so this is a settlement?
Nightstone like?
So, I don't have a map of Nightstone because I did not prepare very well, I guess. But it is a small settlement. Imagine like a one stoplight town, really. It seems to be mostly like people coming in and out for travel, and this just happens to be like, you guys were not alone on the road. Like, you didn't travel with anybody, but at the same time, like, you weren't like alone ever on the road.
So it's like the gas station and the pizza place,
and
the tavern.
Yep, exactly. It's definitely like, this is where you stop when you're heading east, because this is about how long you can travel in a day. And some change.
That makes sense.
So this is like a popular caravan stop, but it's not like a place where some people live here, but not like a lot of people who live here.
I'm guessing it's not hard to find the tavern then, if there's only one.
There is only one tavern.
It's basically Leyland.
It's literally called The Tavern. They didn't try to make it fancy. Like, they know what they are.
Grim clocks the tavern, like, pauses, staring hard at it.
A little offended that they didn't try any.
I think they can't. I think they're not even processing enough to decide to be offended. They just sort of, to no one in particular, like one more little pony kick to get Heather to jog up to the group. Is that a joke? I can't decide if that's a joke.
The name, the tavern.
The name.
Well, I suppose it's good enough for business here.
I suppose it's very unambiguous. That's where Kiss said she would meet us. Or we should meet her.
Well, very well then. Let's hope that they have something acceptable to drink.
I think we have that covered, even if they don't.
Well, I'd like to give them the opportunity to prove themselves.
Yeah.
Just grins, and as Heather drops back to the back group again.
Is that Titus having opinions about the tavern?
I think that must
That
be
was
Digby.
Digby.
Oh, Digby.
Yeah.
Yeah, so you head in, and it is, like, a pretty rousing night. Most of the
I can't wait to hear what that means here.
most of the tables are full. You see it's mostly, like, hunters, trappers, caravanners, things like that. This is a rough crowd. You don't stick out. You're a lot of mercenaries, so you don't actually stick out. Like, unlike normal when you would go into a place, you kind of stick out a little bit. You're, like, in armor and look like you're armed for bear. Like, this place, not everyone is.
Actually, then, point of order is Corinne was going to bring some fancy garb to. Does she? I assume is she traveling in the fancy garb,
No.
or was that to change it?
No. That's the backup plan. Like
Excellent.
plus we're not getting to the Carrying Hands school until the second day anyway, so she absolutely is just in standard, like, her leathers and all that kind of stuff.
The other thing that I then need to ask is, as we approach the place where we were supposed to meet Kiss, how's Eliana doing? Grim doesn't know.
But Bones would. Passive insight of 20.
She's looking around for Kiss. I mean, she might seem a little bit more, this is a 15 on her charisma check of choice, so the way she's turning her head and looking may seem a little bit more on edge than one might expect.
Yep, Grim doesn't know.
Corinne is scanning the room for Kiss.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, ditto.
Sure. You see that she is at a table with another mercenary, who seems to be equally in, like, leather gear. They seem to be playing some sort of drinking game. It involves a lot of, like, they're definitely playing a card game, and there's definitely spoons involved. And there's a lot of aggressive slapping and, like, smacking each other's hands, and near wrestling involved. And so it's cards, it's spoons, and then whoever doesn't get the spoon has to drink. So that appears to be the game.
I'm envisioning Egyptian war.
I don't know what that is.
Me neither.
I think Bosun, who has been riding quietly, sort of alternately flapping along and riding on the front of Grim's saddle, and is now invisible, having entered the tavern, would like to fly over and try to steal a spoon because he has been learning from his friend George.
Sure. So there's only one spoon on that table. Let's see here. And if Bosun goes for the spoon, you see both of the rangers seem to, like, kind of, because they were both intensely staring at their cards and, like, passing cards back and forth and rotating through cards. And you see that they, like, as soon as they see movement on the spoon, Bosun needs to make a dexterity saving throw.
17.
17. Bosun does not get smacked as both hands go down on the spoon very quickly. Let's see, let's roll. Oh my. Kiss's hand smacks down first, just like grabs the spoon, but you see her, like, she gets indents in, like, her vambrace as, like, the other woman, who seems to be like a very tall, buff, like, half-orc woman, like, claws her arm trying to get this spoon. It is a very intense game.
We'll drop into Awakened Mind to Kiss. Are we interrupting?
Kiss grins, shakes her head. All right, well, that's me losing. So she smiles up, tosses a coin on the table, and stands up to look for you all. And spots Bones first, because the tabaxi sticks out. She is orange.
A little bit.
She is orange. And, Lenya, you've seen this sort of mischievous smile on Kiss's face before, but like this is almost kind of new, as it's very crooked. As she's kind of swaggers over, puppy on
And
her
that smells
heels.
directed at us.
It's directed at you, but mostly Bones. And Bones just shakes her head a little bit like, everyone knows everyone, I think.
Wait, do you two have history too?
Kind of. As Kiss kind of comes over, smiles at you all. What are you all doing with this dirty stray?
We had a mission together.
She's not. I don't think she's stray at this point.
Grim makes like a 50-50 hand gesture.
Bones just snorts a little bit.
What's good at the bar, or what's acceptable at the bar?
The beer is actually very good. And Bones just shakes her head. Oh, Kiss, you still smell like dog all of the time. How do you always smell like dog, even when you don't have a dog?
Is Kai not here?
No, Kai is sitting, like, patiently at you guys' feet, like, expecting pets.
Lenya provides pets.
This is a bad time. Do we need more to drink? I think we need more to drink.
Oh.
Bones, do you need something to drink?
Okay, so you guys can roll an insight check if you want.
Yeah, I want to.
Yes.
25.
25? Yeah.
Corinne... Not 20, 26.
Corinne, okay. Corinne, these are clearly mortal enemies. Grim and Lenya, these are definitely... This is siblings, like, sibling rivalry levels of jibing each other. Like, you always smell like a dog. What is the stray cat up to now? This is not animosity. This is friendly-ish. Friendly is a word, sort of.
I'm just gonna sort of tilt their head, sort of looking at those two, looking at Bones. You could have told us. Is there anything else we should know?
Bones just shrugs. Well, I mean, could have been any kiss. Probably dime a dozen. In fact, I think that was the price on the dock ward for kisses this morning. Let me check my notes. She gets a smack in the back of the head as Kiss, who is well over jokes about her name.
You two have a very strange way of showing affection to each other.
Kiss nods. We're aware. But since our darling Bones here decided to go in a complete opposite direction of what she was trained for and join up with the city guard.
The Inquisitors aren't Guards.
Bones laughs. No, they're not, but we do work for the city, so... Kiss gets them confused. It's fine. When you're a hermit in the woods, everything looks the same. When you get into the city, it's the mushrooms. It really is the mushrooms, isn't it?
Right, I'm gonna go get a drink. Does anyone else want anything?
Grim has been continuing to just sort of stare, not stare, but just like watch Bones, sort of carefully neutral this whole time.
Mm-hmm.
We'll just sort of nod and follow Corinne.
Lenya starts to go as well, but then realizes that, wait, Grim and Corinne have both gone, and so it would be a better idea if she stuck around.
Kiss smiles at
Get
you.
me something you think I'll like.
Gives a thumbs up over their shoulder.
Kiss smiles to you. Lenya kind of reaches out a hand and gives yours a squeeze, and motions for you guys to find an empty table.
Yeah. She squeezes Kiss's hand back and searches for table.
It's easy to find an empty one. You might have to like do a little like maneuvering to get enough chairs, but it's easy enough. Yeah. Go ahead.
Yeah, maybe there's like a 4-seat table and Lenya drags over a 5th seat.
Yeah. Might have to topple someone out of it who's a little too drunk and already asleep, but easy enough.
Yeah. Kind of gently set you down.
Mm-hmm.
There you go, you'll be better in the morning.
Alright, we'll take a quick 5-10 minute break. Percy is telling me he needs to go outside in a very polite way.
Delightful. That is good communication, buddy.
He's just making intense eye contact and going, boof, boof.
I love him.
if I could get a sound check from someone.
Hello, hello, hello.
Talk. Am I talking in a reasonably
You are.
responsive? Awesome. Okay, cool. Thank you.
I think we have everyone's back, so I think we can start playing again.
Looks that way.
All right, so you find yourselves at the tavern. Quite literally the tavern.
The tavern.
The tavern.
The tavern. Kisses let you know that the beer is in fact quite good.
Corinne would like to sneak in a quick word with Corinne while away from the group.
Sure.
And away from poor Eliana. I don't know if she's feeling poor, but that's pretty entertaining. Sort of approaching, like once they are reasonably confident they're out of earshot, by which Grim means out of normal person earshot.
Mm-hmm.
I love this headcanon that the tavern is a chain franchise situation. Whether they are actually out of earshot, I don't know. Grim doesn't know. They're just assuming. Will sort of quietly to Corinne. I did say Kiss's name, didn't I, on the road? That would not have been a surprise.
On the road, yes.
Nod, think for a moment. I think I was going to say know her. Bones. Know is probably too strong, but I believe that Abilene knew her. She's who I think she is.
Oh.
They did not get on.
Well. Kind of like thinks for a second.
And I feel like I need to say DM now, because now if I say Heather, I might be talking to the horse. If I remember correctly, Grim didn't know any details, just that there was a frenemy situation there.
Yeah.
That Abilene didn't entirely trust
was,
Bones, but not why or how justified it was.
It was a lot of rival,
Mm-hmm.
Rival gang. You guys had control over a certain area, probably Ship Street, and she was probably over on Fish Street, and there was that intersection where some territorial disputes happened, but also if one of your gang was in trouble or one of her gang was in trouble, there's this little bit of urchin street code to each other.
So just it was a long time ago, but still.
Are you saying that you don't trust Bones?
She is a stranger, functionally. So.
Well, I don't know why I asked. Well, we selected her for a reason, I suppose.
Nods. That's all.
Oh, all right. Would you like a drink?
I really would.
Very good.
And sigh.
And Corinne will go ahead and place an order for the acceptable beer and whatever seems disgustingly sweet.
Yeah, so there is a house beer. It's called the house beer.
That tracks. Yep.
And does Eliana like beer? I know she asked for something that she would like, but I don't know if would be within her wheelhouse.
You don't see her drink beer that often, but she does drink beer, so.
Okay. Then we'll order one of those those as well, since that it sounds like the house beer is probably the best thing available.
Sure.
The house beer, the house cocktail, the house wine. It's some weird rosé that is literally just made of mixing red and white together.
Grim approves.
It really is. Do you order the
So
house
almost
wine?
by proxy.
Amazing.
So the halfling behind the bar pours you a nice big beer. Do you actually order the house wine?
No, gods, no.
I feel like
Absolutely
I
not.
feel like Corinne could not make herself do that.
No. No.
Grim will
We have
like
standards.
point to the haversack, raise a questioning eyebrow.
They do offer one named drink. It is called a mudslide. Whether
is
or
that
not
what-
you have ever heard of this drink in this universe, I will leave it up to yourselves.
Yeah, Corinne orders a mudslide for Grim for sure.
Grim doesn't know what it is, but accepts it and is delighted.
Yeah. And then we'll bring the house beer, two of the house beer back to the table. One for Eliana and one for Corinne.
Sure. Kiss is taking a seat next to Eliana. Just getting comfortable. She and Bones have stopped sniping at each other.
As Corinne and Grim approach, Corinne will tell Grim, but later I will be taking you up on that offer, and kind of nods towards the haversack.
Just gives a knowing nod back.
And then we'll head to the table and take the available seats.
Yeah. There's, one side of the table is empty, one of the heads of the table is empty. So.
Corinne slides into the other booth side.
Oh, delightful, because Grim was definitely going for the head of the table.
Perfect. So, what's new? What's been out and about? How's our good boy?
Kiss smiles. Doing very well in his training, actually. Managed to protect me from a skunk that I didn't spot.
Oh, did you? And kind of looks under the table where
Oh yeah. Kai is happy.
yeah.
Is he
What's your-
stinky?
He is not stinky, no. It seems like he may have done a very good job at protecting Kiss from this skunk and may have not, in fact, approached.
Wow.
Boy, this a good boy. And reaches a hand under the table
Oh, yeah.
and roughs his neck floof.
It's all kisses after that, His good manners disappear the moment that floofs scritches are involved. Kiss kind of leans back. Other than that, dealing with an owlbear situation, dealing with Neverwinter's. There's been some things in Neverwinter happening that are strange.
Is that related to, I believe you said one of our acquaintances has headed up that way?
Yeah, it's related. Just some strange orders coming out that I don't exactly trust.
Looks at her. Sorry, go ahead, Eliana.
Neverember?
Not quite, no.
Grim looks at her a bit sharply. Orders for us, or...
Yeah, for us. Not for us, but, for us. Kind of.
Or from our acquaintance?
She kind of looks around the table.
And we'll drop into Awakened Mind and clarify that they do in fact mean Mert.
She nods. Yeah, that acquaintance.
Grim leans back very slowly in their chair and does not look happy. Not unhappy with her specifically, just desperately unhappy in general.
I'm not super worried about it, but some of the things he's been ordering seem out of character. So, I'll probably head up that way at some point to go check in on it.
And Grim will glance at Eliana and Corinne and try to gauge whether those two are clocking what's going on, since they are aware this is a conversation that has happened half in their head. That's a insight 23. Who understands what? or like who looks like they think they understand?
Gonna roll a check. Hold on. Bones looks like she thinks she understands, but is pointedly not paying attention. Like, she knows, but she is not commenting on it or saying anything specific. Like, she understands this is not her place to say something.
Linya looks like she's not quite keeping up.
I'm doing a check for me first because I lost some audio for part of that whole exchange. But just to confirm, it sounds like Mert potentially, like, something weird's going on and he's issuing orders that are out of character for some reason.
Yes, that is the gist of the conversation.
Okay. Cool. Then Corinne has, like, sat up, like, not abruptly, but, like, is just barely perceptibly sitting upright a little bit more straight and, like, leans a little bit in on the table.
Then Grim will also drop into Awakened Mind to Eliana. She means Mert.
Alanya will say out loud, "Oh."
And then we'll settle back, like, sort of, again, almost to the same degree probably that Corinne has sat up and is leaning forward, like, continues to slouch down their chair and look unhappy.
When did these orders start?
A few weeks ago, I think.
What's the scope?
It's not been sudden. It's just things that seem strange or getting stranger. Pieces moved on the chessboard that don't make a lot of sense.
What's the scope of the movement?
Local only, really. A few agents here and in Neverwinter.
Oh.
You have.
I can think of two reasons
Yeah.
why that might be happening. One is he's in trouble. And the other is someone else is in trouble.
You all haven't gotten any orders from him. Nothing strange, at least.
We've not heard word since we came back from Leyland, actually.
We knew he was leaving, but and she trails off.
Yeah. I thought a little bit of it was a test. He's been trying to push me into taking more responsibility, more of a leadership position. But then he has me TNRing owlbears.
Was at his request?
What?
Grim looks mystified. Still unhappy, but mystified also.
I mean, not directly from him, but through the chain of command, at least. Yeah.
I thought that didn't have anything to do with him. I thought that was just some guy. How's the beer? This is a good time for Lenya to try it.
Reasonably good. Yeah, reasonably good.
That's not bad.
She nods.
Several weeks.
It's only really seemed odd for the last couple of weeks.
Has anyone else seemed odd? I suppose maybe you don't know. We don't really know many others.
A couple people are quiet when they're usually not. Honestly, I was about to reach out to Ilya. She might be retired, but she still has connections. More connections than I do.
And sort of nods along with that.
Plus, you don't ever actually retire from a faction.
And it's
No.
never a bad idea to reach out to Ilya.
There was an incident at the court.
Grim is nodding slowly. Does not
And
look
another
surprised.
incident in Skullport.
With the Xanatar's guild.
I'm not sure if you've heard about it.
Just what you all told me when you got back.
I wonder if it's connected.
I thought it was strange that we didn't reach out to assist the court more directly. Mert and Ilya did not part on great terms, but I didn't think it was that bad. But I kind of brushed it off in the moment.
I feel like something else is going on. You know, there's
Cults.
Yes.
Focus. Tiamat.
all these goddamn cults. To deal with another cult, I would be so delighted if cults would just fall off the face of the planet. That would do me so much good and help me sleep so much better at night. If they would just have that basic courtesy.
Bones
What
nods,
would we,
raises her glass.
what would we do with our time, though? With the cults?
I don't know. I always thought maybe gardening. I wanted to give it a shot.
Drink a lot more.
I have always had an interest in architecture, so maybe learning architecture. You know,
Grim looks a little alarmed when Corinne said she could drink a lot more.
Lenya also looked a little surprised at that. And then realized, and then kind of settled into a place of, oh, Corinne's probably joking.
I could send him a message. Would I have gotten? I think horseback riding. I don't know if that counts as a short rest. If I'm having to constantly,
yeah, not when you're
actively
afraid of,
encourage my horse to go faster. Okay.
yeah, and not when you're afraid of horses, unfortunately.
Yeah, not restful for Graham. Maybe for someone else. Not yet. I couldn't, but later or tomorrow or soon.
And you'd be able to get the real one if the case has been a case of switched identities.
Sort of nods, pause, visibly considers, and then nods again. I only know. I suppose we'd find out, but I do believe the spell understands intent to reach. So that could be interesting.
Certainly could be.
In the meantime, you be focusing on Kiss. We're looking into the school, I believe you said.
Yes, I was. Especially with that incident with the gunslinger.
Makes like a keep going hand gesture.
Unfortunately, I haven't found out a whole lot. They seem to be pretty quiet. It's kind of in the middle of nowhere, which is strange for those schools, but not very unusual. It eliminates some of the prospect of runaways, but I think that there haven't been enough incidents at that school. Like, the suspicious thing is that it's quiet too quiet, if that makes sense.
That there haven't been
Exactly.
runaways or dust-ups or...
Runaways, dust-ups, scandal.
What happens you have scandals at a school? That's...
Oh, so many.
All the time.
It's one of those things that's sort of a, the reason that people change their alliances at the sponsorship levels is because of some sort of scandal or, mass attempts to flee or, not everyone who is put into one of those reform schools is going at their own volition.
And Bones will nod at that, especially when most of them are being sent there as plea bargains. I would expect to see more escape. I would expect to see, given who I know of who went, a damn village of runaway teenagers in the fucking woods.
I suppose that's where the Orcus cult could have come from.
Wait.
Huh.
That's in character.
That was in character.
Yeah, Corinne is glossed over entirely.
Sorry. Yeah, that was Lenya she stares for a moment and then she bursts into laughter.
Grim looks visibly relieved when she starts laughing, because it was definitely a joke.
Bones...
Yeah, Corinne missed it entirely.
Checks out.
Bones blinks for a moment and is like, I mean, I have definitely written ominous things in Goblin on a side of a building to keep people out of it.
Does that ring bells?
Yes. Yes, it does.
Just sharp, visibly sharp look at her before sort of refocusing.
Meanwhile, Corinne has just continued talking, as though this didn't happen. Well, it doesn't make sense. If the school's out in the middle of the woods, what on earth would prevent someone from just trying to make a go for it? It seems like the ideal place to go if you wanted to just flee.
Right. So maybe we should take into but they put I don't know a lot about Say, but I know about Alina, and I know Alina's type. It does not seem like the sort of person who would be very easily overpowered by, I don't even a handful of, feckless teenagers.
No, Say can very much handle her own. I've seen her arm wrestle. It's shocking how much power is in those arms.
It was a joke.
But sometimes jokes are interesting places to begin brainstorming.
Wait, what was the joke? Looking back at Grim.
I will explain later. Keep going. It wasn't a very good one.
The joke about the teenagers being in being the Orcus cult. Bones explains.
Right. Well, if they're not running away, then what are they afraid of?
Or not afraid of, maybe, what was her name? The one with the bird name. Said everything was fine.
Ren.
You can probably see some sort of magic at play, right? There's sort of that mosaic thing, the fresco. The fresco, it did weird things with with people's minds if you stared too much at it, right? Maybe it's something similar?
That fresco, and say was mind controlled.
You called this an infiltration mission. When you said that, did you mean infiltration we are posing as who we are not, or infiltration as in we are sneaking inside after dark? Or during the day but sneaking?
My intent was the latter, but if it makes sense to claim that we are someone that we're not, and that makes it easier, it's also an option.
Looks over at Kiss. Have you seen enough or heard enough to have a sense of which might work better? Is it possible to sneak in? Is it possible to talk one's way in? Or do we not know?
I think both have their upsides and their downsides. Honestly, she kind of shrugs. I'm thrown by the lack of information that I can give you. That all we can see is the hole that they've made. That the lack of information speaks more than any shreds that I was able to get.
Grim nods.
Bones kind of looks at you all. How good are you all at sneaking into places, though? Like, better than average, or...
Corinne just sits back and smirks. Yeah, Corinne just, sits back in her chair and smirks.
What was that, Eliana?
She was gesturing at Corinne.
Grim makes the 50-50 hand gesture again. Some better than others.
Okay. I'm not opposed to a little bit of breaking and entering when the time calls for it, but I wanted to get an idea of your skills.
So we'll be there tomorrow. We can have a look at it. Decide from there.
Bones nods.
Check the grounds. Yeah.
And I think that's all Grim has for the time being.
Sure.
Although I said they don't want to cut off other people who had things they wanted to talk about here.
I don't think so.
How's the mudslide?
It is... has Grim had ice cream before?
Probably not.
Right. So, it is a mudslide.
They are surprised, but like it very much.
It's got Kahlua and then Irish cream, and then it does appear to have ice cream in it, as well as vodka. It's definitely exceptionally strong. Like, this is a strong drink, but it's also like eating melted ice cream. So
Delightful.
I'll let you know. I'll let you decide on how that affects Grim.
I mean, drunk Grim gets very, very relaxed. So, they're only having, they definitely slow down. They definitely start drinking it fairly aggressively, not realizing how strong it is because it's so sweet. And then, once they start to feel it, they definitely slow down. But they're probably just as is typical for drunk Grim, just sort of still slouching, very much slouching in the chair, but probably turned sideways, one knee hooked over the arm, just kind of relaxed and listening.
Yeah. Yeah. I was gonna say something and I immediately lost it.
And we'll at some point ask if the like if this is the place to stay, like if there are rooms, and we'll go off to arrange for
Sure.
Kiss probably already has a room.
Probably safe to assume if she's going to get a room, she's probably already got it.
Delightful. They will go off, return with 3 room keys. Pass one to Bones, one to Eliana, and one to Karen, and then sort of slouch back into their chair.
Okay.
And then they are content.
Bread is brought for the table. Appears to be some fresh rolls. Is just kind of dropped in a basket. Is just dropped on your table, along with a couple of butter knives and a small container of butter.
Hi, Liam.
He's mad. He's awake.
Oh,
That's a mood.
in there.
That'll be me tomorrow morning. Yeah. Corinne dives into a roll.
Yep.
Lenya has a role as well, and she inquires as to, she finds somebody to inquire as to dinner options.
Yep. They have a vegetarian dish, they have a chicken dish, and they have a beef dish.
Are they called on the menu the beef dish, the chicken dish,
They
the
are.
vegetarian dish?
Yes, they are.
Amazing.
Any cues as to which ones are the better quality?
Bones looks at him and goes, Kiss, please, can you give me... I am entreating you as your younger sister to give me guidance on this bullshit. Kiss goes, yeah, go with the chicken.
One's a chicken for me as well.
Alright, so chicken for everyone? Sorry, everyone went quiet all at the same time.
Yep, chicken.
Yeah, Grim is happy to have whatever is being ordered.
Alright, yeah. It doesn't take very long. Large plates are brought over. And these portions are huge. Like, they are definitely, have sized their portions for a Goliath and are just accepting the fact that sometimes the people they serve are not Goliaths.
Well, I don't suppose this will keep till morning.
Bone shrugs. And so the chicken it's like some like a roasted chicken, like thigh, and some roasted mixed vegetables that go with it. It's definitely not fancy, but it is pretty good food.
Oh.
Go ahead.
Oh, buddy.
Yeah,
I think
sorry,
I
guys.
think at this point, Grim will sort of at the point the food arrives, will sort of lean down the haversack, pull out a bottle of Czar, and just sort of place it in the middle of the table, like in front of Corinne, but in the middle of the table. Goes back to slouching on their chair.
All right, everybody, we're gonna take a quick 5-minute break,
Sure.
Sure. Yep, totally fair.
Yep. Good luck with kiddo.
Yep.
Hi, Al. Sorry about that.
Hey, welcome back.
Hey, no problem.
Alrighty, so, as you all get the chicken dish, you see as, not so stealth. Actually, let me roll a sleight of hand check. You see, somehow, Bones just doesn't have any vegetables. They all disappear from her plate. Like, there definitely was a plate, it arrived with vegetables. It no longer has, her plate no longer has vegetables.
Is Kai under the table?
No, but Kiss's plate has, like, a shit ton of vegetables on it.
Corinne looks at the two plates, like, then looks up at the two. So which one of you was it?
Kiss looks confused and looks down at her plate and just sighs. Vegetables are good for you, you know that, right? And Bones just shakes her head. I am not interested in your vegetable propaganda, and I have made it very clear over the last several years that we have known each other that I have no interest in vegetables.
Well, do you want those vegetables? I'm sure Kai, if no one else, would be delighted to take those off your hands.
Kiss laughs and nods. I'm going to eat what I can of this generous portion, and then I'll.
Oh, it's so generous.
It's really generous. And then I'll pass off what I can to our dear friend under the table, who will be happy to take everyone's leftovers home in a doggy mouth, not quite a doggy bag.
It'll be good to know that nothing will be going to waste.
Sorry, I was just changing myself over to push to talk. Kiss kind of nods. One of the best parts about having a dog and not a cat.
Mm. Attacking Eliana right now.
No. Oh wait, Eliana. I'm sorry, I heard Alina.
Yeah.
Oh.
Well, Eliana was interpreting that as an attack on Bones and not an attack on her.
Oh. That's clever. Well, perhaps we regroup tomorrow? Another early start?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that might be the way to go, actually. Bones kind of smiles at you all. I think I could use a nap, and Oh, you had a question about dragons! And you see her pull out her journal, kind of open it up, she kind of sets the pen, balancing on its point, onto the journal, and then clicks the top, which you see has kind of an arcane glow to it. And you see the pen start... Oh, go ahead.
And just, like, what on earth is happening right now?
Ask a wizard. And you see the pen start writing out a fairly quick note in this very neat handwriting. Those of you who snuck a look at Bones' chart earlier recognize the handwriting immediately as being the same from the chart. And Bones kind of looks at the note. Oh, okay, he says that dragons are... While they're not beasts, they're dragons. They're their own, like, separate type of creature, but they are also more elemental than they are flesh and blood. So, like, sure, they're flesh, blood, and scale there, but they're also, like, they are of the elements. So that's the difference between dragons and dinosaurs, I guess.
Grim, who was, as I just said, has slept so far, they're practically horizontal. Like, they're not actually having to peek over the table, but definitely, like, sort of a lazy head turn is going to insight check Eliana at that. They're more elemental than they are flesh and blood. That's a dirty 20. How is Eliana reacting to that, / to anything else that she might be reacting to at this point in time?
reaction. So what you get is her reaction to dragons and dinosaurs, and the difference between them is fairly like, "Huh, that's interesting to know." But you also get off of her. Let's roll a die. Oh. You also get off of her a sense of kind of I think you're getting some willingness, some hope that this dinner is going to be over soon.
That little bit of Eliana impatience.
Yeah.
They're going to sort of kind of push a little more upright in their chair and look at her for a moment, and then we'll sort of lean forward. I assume at some point the bottle of Czar has been opened and drunk from.
Oh yeah, I would have.
Delightful.
Yep.
Is there anything left in it, or would you all have drained it?
Bones doesn't drink it, but
that would make sense.
Kiss will help.
Okay.
Yeah, Corinne would be like there still would be some in there unless this was a previously opened bottle, just because
no, I think they produced a new bottle.
Okay. Yeah, Corinne for sure would have cautioned like this is strong stuff, like strong.
Mm-hmm. All right. Well,
so there would definitely, assuming that was heated, there would still be a good amount left.
All right, then we'll sort of lean forward, grab the neck of the bottle, and pull it over towards them, and stand with. Oh, that's not great, Grim. So the bottle in one hand, sort of stands, wobbles a little bit, puts their other hand down on the table, like they don't fall over or anything, but there was definitely a moment of like. They went from nearly horizontal to upright faster than was probably wise. So tomorrow then, once they're steadied again.
Bones nods. Well, tomorrow.
Yeah.
I think
you need to lie down.
Yeah, was like beginning to cast a pleading glance at Corinne.
Right. Okay. We will see you all tomorrow then. And like puts like an arm under their shoulder to like help keep them steady and head towards the rooms.
Is definitely leaning on her, but like not like they are definitely capable of walking stably on their own. Like the lean is partly for show, partly recreational. Will drop into awakened mind. Yeah, they're drunk. Bring Eliana.
What? Lanya, can you get the other side?
And then we'll sort of clarify. She looked like she wanted to get out of there. Don't know why.
And Corinne will kind of like pretend that the weight of Grim is more than she's able to support currently. Please, Lanya.
Lanya gets up, puts some coin on the table for the food. I'd better help. Awkwardly smiles and waves to Kiss, and then heads out with Corinne and Grim.
Once they're an appropriate distance away, Corinne just goes, They just said you looked like you wanted to leave.
I did. I need to think.
All right, that's fair.
Yeah, Grim definitely definitely lets them is all in on like sort of letting themselves be carried / dragged.
And you
up the
feel a pair of golden eyes follow you up the stairs and kind of really examining you all.
Is that Bones or is that?
Yeah, it's Bones.
Okay. Are the rooms upstairs?
Yeah, yeah.
Actually, Grim is going to send Invisible Bosun to sit on the back of the chair that they were in and listen into the conversation. So they're not using Bosun's senses. The instructions are stay downstairs. Let me know if anything interesting is said. I guess we'll find out what Bosun thinks is interesting.
Interesting can mean a lot of different things there.
They are still drunk. They are not. They like normally Grim would know this, but this is the best they could do right now. It's a
Yep.
very strong mudslide.
Yeah.
But
I
once
do
sort
think-
of, go ahead.
I do think when they're at a respectable distance and the ruse isn't necessary anymore, Lenya will also restore Grim.
They would like to attempt to dodge that. Like they definitely
Yeah.
once out of sight of the table, they will sort of put their like stand up a little straighter. They'll continue to lean a little bit on Karen, but definitely would not make the two carry them all the way to the room. And what do I have to do to try to attempt to dodge this lesser restoration? Because it's a touch spell, right?
I believe so. Let me check the stat block. Yep, that's a touch spell.
Delightful.
My instinct is kind of a grapple check. Okay, so that is
I'm using a luck point.
that's a 14.
I'm using another luck point. I'm using one more, my last luck point.
Oh my god.
Yes, dirty 20. Dirty 20 athletics. So
Okay,
so,
amazing.
so it's less a dodge and more a probably like grab her wrist as she reaches for them and redirects away, and then let's go hastily. And ducks behind Corinne.
Okay.
Well, that's all right.
I pause, like leans forward to look at Corinne, looks at Eliana, looks at Corinne. I don't mean to be ungrateful.
I could have asked first.
It just seems like a shame.
All right.
I'll be up in the morning. That's all right.
If you're hungover, you're getting it though.
I always do.
It doesn't cost me anything that I can't, but it's up to you.
I think I'm all right.
All right.
But thank you for the thought.
You're welcome.
So why, like, rubbing their temples just a little bit? Not, they don't have a headache or anything. Just thinking is hard work right now.
Yeah.
Why did you want to escape the table?
I've gotten myself into a mess. If you don't want to hear about this, then that's fine. But I don't know what to do when two people like me at once.
What? Would you like assistance?
Grim makes another small strangled sound and then makes the keep going hand gesture.
If you wouldn't mind listening, I know that with what we've had together. It's awkward of me to ask it of either of you.
No, you're fine, Uriel. Uriel, that was not fine, but you're fine. I think. For me.
I certainly don't mind.
Right. Right. I need to.
Grim Will was standing in the hallway. Grim will sort of pause, look up and down the hallway, maybe step into one of the rooms first, though, just in case.
Yes,
Yeah,
agree.
yes.
And then Grim looks expectantly at both of them because they definitely handed out all of the keys. They did not acquire an
Yeah.
additional key for themselves.
Yeah.
Assumptions were made.
Delightful. Well, which one is this for, Grim?
Anya's just trying her key at this door.
Don't know. Check the tag. I think there's a
Oh.
number.
Oh, that's further down the hall, I think. Does this one work for you, Lenya?
Yes.
All right, we'll just go in here for now.
Okay. We'll head into the room.
It is a rather plain room. There's like a small landscape painting on the wall.
Is it the same painting in every room? We'll find out.
We'll see. It's inoffensive and nondescript. Like, if you looked away from the painting, you probably would not be able to tell what was on the painting. Not in a otherworldly way, but in like this painting has no influence and is barely registering as art.
Slides right off the brain.
You the bed looks well made. Like, it looks like someone cared. Someone cared deeply when they cleaned and made this room. Like, this is probably one of the cleanest inns you've ever been in, other than your own. Someone cared, at least. Like, they cared, maybe not about the presentation, maybe not about the personality of the room, but definitely cared that, like, you felt. Like, anyone could probably walk into this room and have a good night's sleep. Like, a necromancer could walk into this room and have a good night's sleep. Because it's just so excessively inoffensive.
Oh my gosh.
I love whoever takes care of this place.
Right. Well, Corinne will kind of like lead Grim to the nearest chair, regardless of whether they actually need leading. Like, that is where they are being herded to.
They flop down horizontally into the chair, so like knees hooked over the arm, shoulders and head on the other arm. So they, yeah.
Yep.
Is there more than one chair, or is there just like a bed and a chair and?
There are two chairs, like two sitting chairs,
That's so
and
convenient.
and then one, and then the bed. So
Perfect. Corinne will sit in the other chair, the way that one usually would sit in a chair when one thinks of someone sitting in a chair.
And Aliana will sit on the bed.
All right.
Right.
And like
Well-
holds out the bottle of Czar towards her. Like, they probably can't. I don't know if they can reach from where they are, but we'll offer it again.
She takes a drink from it and passes it back.
They probably hand it to Corinne.
Yeah, Corinne just holds onto it.
Right. Well, Uriel likes me, and Kiss likes me too, and I
Beg your pardon?
she does.
Huh.
Yeah. And I have to decide I have to decide which of them I like better. I can't go leading both of them on.
Why not?
And why not?
Now realizes that they may be talking too much and looks over at Corinne.
It wouldn't be fair to them.
Well, what is it that you want?
I don't know.
That's all right.
I went out with Kiss once and had a good time, and then she left, and then I went out with Uriel, and I don't want to break hearts.
Well, does either of them have expectations of spending the rest of their lives with you at this point?
No, no, no. And I don't think either of them expects exclusivity right now. I don't know. I guess I could find that out. There's so much I don't know.
Well, as long as everyone knows that this is still a trial stage, there's no you're not doing anything wrong.
I guess not. I felt like I was.
No, you haven't
Take
promised
some.
anyone any.
Go ahead.
Oh, go ahead.
Go ahead, finish your thing, and then I'll do my thing.
Okay. You haven't promised anything that you've reneged on or planned to renege on.
And Grim will take a measured swallow of the Tsar. Like they're definitely not chugging it. And then we'll hand it back. If you were leading them on, that would be. We could talk about that, I suppose. But you've been out with each of them once. Did I hear that right?
Yeah.
Grim clearly looks like this. They think this answers all the questions.
Corinne will translate. It's only being out with someone once is sort of like when you first discover that you actually like peppermint. It's sort of like, oh, this is interesting, but that doesn't mean you're going to only eat peppermint for the rest of your life.
Points at her.
That makes sense. Yeah. All right, so it doesn't have to be bad. I can keep trying. And maybe I'll need to make up my mind eventually, but maybe that doesn't have to be now.
Why? Eventually, I mean. It certainly doesn't have to be now.
I want to be the only one for someone. I can't ask that of somebody else that I wouldn't accept myself. I feel like you're going to ask me why again, though.
Grim
Drunk.
was in fact like slow nod at the I want to be the only one for someone, and then just sort of slouching slouching further down in the chair. Not like having a particularly strong feeling, just realizing that maybe they should stop talking now.
Well, as long as you're not making any promises that you can't keep, there's no harm in seeing what's out there.
That's true, and I don't think I have made any promises that I can't keep yet. Yeah.
So there you are.
Yeah. It doesn't have to be so bad.
Was there anything else?
No, that was all. Thank you.
Of course. Corinne will stand up and go to like try to figure out like what part of the blob that is Grim right now is going to be the easiest part to maneuver, and decides to shove their legs off the arm of the chair first.
They
Would it
definitely
be-
actually approach. We're starting to sit up, but at the point it becomes clear that she is planning to assist slash adjust them, then like immediately relaxed back into like boneless slouch over the chair.
Would it be easier for you to just stay here, or I could take the other one?
It's really fine. They're just doing this for the effect.
Finger guns, and then we'll stand up.
Of course they are.
It's supposed to be fun,
You're so dramatic.
and you're very fond of it.
Well, it's-
And then we'll look past her to Eliana, because they're too drunk to realize that may have been an awkward thing to say in front of anyone else, or just in general. It is supposed to be fun, though. It's not supposed to just be not bad.
It is.
They nod again, like that explains everything. And then we'll sling an arm over Corinne's shoulder and lean just enough to like for her to need to like put just a little bit of effort into moving them if she so chooses.
Yep. Massive eye roll from Corinne, and then heads to the door. Good night, Eliana. We'll see you in the morning.
Have a good night. And you don't really know whether that's earnest or wink wink.
No.
Grim just waves over their shoulder.
And I think
Probably
we had
both.
oh well, you know. Corinne's not going to examine that too closely.
Yeah, same.
Neither is anybody else. Like I as a pilot certainly don't know. I think Eliana is just having fun with me.
I'm happy that she's having fun
me
though.
wonder.
That's good for her.
Delightful.
Yeah. It's a character development.
She's cheered up a little bit, maybe. Who knows? Who knows?
Who knows?
Delightful. Totally
So.
understood.
Yeah, no, Eliana, are you staying in your room?
Sorry.
I think she stays in her room for a little while. But then she does go back downstairs.
Sure. You find, when you get downstairs, Bones and Kiss have settled into some... It looks like a very complicated card game. Like, paper and pen have been brought out to tally scores. They're both holding hands of, like, 10 to 15 cards each. And, like, very carefully maneuvering them in like, certain orders in their hand. But have no cards laid out in front of them other than what seems to be like a draw pile and a discard pile.
Eliana walks behind one of them to look at their cards, and then walks behind the other to look at her cards.
Sure. Bones...
Those were her pronouns for both of them.
Yeah, sure. Bones seems to be working on a full, like, it looks like she's collecting 2s, 7s, and 9s, while Kiss looks like she is collecting all hearts.
Following her examination of the cards, Lenya goes to the bar, gets another drink. And we'll come back to that table if she isn't waylaid on the way.
Oh yeah, no, there's no waylaying or anything like that. The halfling is happy to give you another drink of your choice. You head back to the table. You sit at the table, and that's when Kiss lays out. It's 10 cards, all of them of the heart suit. Then lays out a set of 3 fours, and then discards. And it's like, I think that's you losing, Bones. And Bones just laughs, puts her cards down on the table. Fuck you, Kiss. And she grins and gives you a bit of a wave, Eliana, before heading off.
She waves too. And upon seeing in chat Hannah's question of whether Lenya importantly takes Bosun's seat, she does.
She feels a very light nibble at her hair as she sits down. I mean, he's sitting on the chair back. He's perched on the chair back. So she doesn't sit on him, but he definitely nibbles at her hair.
Okay. She turns back and then turns back to look at the invisible presence, and then turns back to the table again.
Kiss kind of smiles, and she's gathering up the cards. I was worried you'd gone to bed for the night.
I thought about it, but got Grim back upstairs. They're doing okay, and I thought I'd head back down again.
Well, I appreciate it. It's a bit stuffy in here. Do you want to go for a walk?
Yeah, I didn't want to leave you alone, and it is a little stuffy in here.
Sounds good. You see her kind of slide the deck of cards into a pocket and offer you an arm.
Takes the arm.
She escorts you out. Kai kind of following, just at her side. At a much more reasonable speed.
Quiet here.
It is. I think most people who are mercenarying in this area are, I don't know, too tired, too old, too something for the normal, like, bar fights and the like.
It's a relief. I didn't have a bar fight in me for tonight. Did you come here with a horse? Or is Kai not the horse sort?
No, I have a way to fast travel. I don't need to bring a horse. I can summon one.
Oh, that's very nice.
It's very useful.
Yeah.
It doesn't have to be a horse. It just usually is a horse.
What else is it?
It can be a horse. It can be I believe an elk. A warhorse, a pony, a camel, an elk, or a mastiff. But I can't ride a mastiff, so...
No. No, it might be nice to... Well, you already have a Kai, but if somebody doesn't have a big dog, then it might be nice to be able to summon one.
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah, I was I was thinking possibly we could check on the horses. I don't know if they're, I'm sure that they're being well cared for, but
I'm always happy to go to the stables.
it's something we could do. Yeah.
Nodding, she kind of turns you and heads towards the stables. There's a lot of horses in here. Not just your 4, probably a solid 16 horses in here.
Yeah.
All kind of bedded down for the night.
Manya steers Kiss towards the Amcathra horses once she spots them. This is Frisia. She's my gal for this trip.
Oh, she is beautiful.
She is. Duncan's the more difficult one. Heather and Pomelo here they're all very gentle. Even Duncan isn't that difficult, but Frasia's my girl.
I think you made a good choice.
I think I did too. I did let the others choose first. But there were no bad choices.
It's nice when there's no bad choices.
Yeah, it is. There used to be only bad choices, and now there are a lot of good ones.
Though sometimes it can make things more difficult.
Yeah.
Kind of smiles and scratches the back of her head. Sorry, everything with Mert's kind of got me a bit on edge and a bit tired.
Yeah, I understand that. That was a big surprise to me. There's been a lot of bad news lately.
Unfortunately, there kind of always is a lot of bad news.
Yeah, it's never really good.
And I mean, I could be overreacting. It could be an entirely innocent, like, it could be a part of a greater master plan. It could be him testing me.
It could be intentional. He does seem very intentional about these things. He could be aware of the problem and trying to figure out which of his operatives he can trust. I don't know him very well, but I know some about him. So
That's another reason I reached out to Ilya. Mert is head of 2 factions, and I only know one side of them.
yeah, and if those are both compromised. There are some factions I don't mind being compromised, but those 2 I mind.
She nods.
It seems like a good time for me to be where I am without having chosen one yet. I wrote to Mert and I was going to ask him to let me join. I thought better of it. But I thought I'd done enough work for him. Maybe.
She nods.
I'm glad that I'm glad that he wasn't in town and I didn't have a chance to ask. I don't think it would have been the right choice.
Have you found any other good suitors?
A few. Ilya had some ideas for me.
She always does.
And oh, yeah. There is another suitor I'm better liked than I thought, and she looks as she's saying this like she's regretting saying it, but like
You can roll an insight check if you want.
but like yeah, I'll roll insight. But like there have just been too many cues that there have just been too many openings for her to like not take any of them.
Yep.
Ah, that's a 26.
Yeah, Kiss definitely knows.
Yeah. I haven't made a choice about that either, but it's important for me to be fair to you and to treat you well, and I do like you.
I like you as well, Eliana. And I know Uriel.
Did he say something?
No, he didn't mention anything. We're not in direct contact. I know of him. I know him as like I know him tangentially, but like I said, sometimes when it's easier to choose between a good decision and a bad decision, but when there's two good decisions, then that can make things more difficult.
Yeah, and I'm that's much what I've been thinking about.
You see, she kind of smiles a little bit. It's a little bit of a bittersweet smile. She kind of reaches forward and takes your hand and gives it a squeeze. You have good instinct, Eliana. You really do, and I think that you will know eventually. But I also don't think that we need to stress about this or rush this at all. I'm not in any rush.
Aliana squeezes back. I think I will too. And we can talk about it as it goes, and in the meantime, there's a lot of time ahead of us and a lot of fun to be had.
Exactly.
What's that you say about regrets?
I said so many things about regrets.
I think it was about not having them.
Let's see. Picked up one from Alina that was a life without regrets is not a life worth living. But that's very Alina.
Alina is very... I do what I want.
She very much is. Regrets are a sign of choices. We'll always have them. There's always the road not traveled. There's always the choice that you could have made.
There are lots of those. There's also only one road in this town.
It really is. I think this is probably the only size of town that I would ever like to live in. There's literally one road. And, yeah, one road, one tavern.
I do like having the choice of multiple taverns, but... Well... Do you want to walk up and down the road?
That sounds lovely. Let's walk up and down the road.
Let's do that.
And she whistles sharply. Kai is pulled from a bucket of apples that he seems to have been looking through. Like, it looks like he was looking for something, like he was convinced that there was something in this bucket that was not apples. Like, if he just tried hard enough.
I'm so glad it was apples.
Like, maybe it was used to store something more delicious, but now it's been relegated to apples, and now he's like, but where'd the thing?
Rough life, buddy.
Oh, come on, Kai. Come on.
Kai trots off. Kiss pulls a small piece of jerky from her pocket and offers it to him. He gobbles it down immediately.
I know you know how to be a good boy.
Kiss grins. He does. We're just working on the impulse control at this point.
Aren't we all?
Right now it's
maybe some more than others.
Right now it's the when to be a good boy more than the how to be a good boy.
Yeah. I get that.
As you set off to your promenade, I'm going to call it for tonight.
All right.
We need to know if they're like, are they walking up and down one side of the one street and then back up down the other
basically,
side?
yeah.
I love it.
Just laps.
Delightful.
Yep.
Thank you.
Thank you. It's great to
Thanks,
know.
Heather.
Sorry for the interruptions, guys. Liam's stomach issues are back, and there's literally one pediatric gastroenterologist in an entire state, and I've been waitlisted for him since Liam was 2.
Oh gosh.
I'm so sorry.
Yeah, it's kind of insane. And then my insurance changed, so then I had to get knocked off the wait list. It was a whole ass thing.
Ugh.
Thank you for soldiering through, and
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Yeah, so sorry that if there's a lot of background noise, especially on the recording. I was trying to be really aggressive with my mute, so you guys didn't have to hear a
Life is like that.
3-year-old with so much problems.
I hope he feels better.
He does.
Yeah.
On the verge of TMI, the problem has resolved itself, and thus he has gone to
I'm
sleep.
glad he's more comfortable.
Yeah. Well, I'm glad that there was a short-term fix, so to speak, and
Yeah.
I wish you and Liam and Sam the best.
Yeah, no, it's fine. I'm gonna probably try and eliminate dairy from his diet a bit more aggressively, because it seems like whatever the reason is, he's reacting to it more than he used to.
Mm.
He used to be having 8 yogurt pouches a day and not have a problem, but for some reason.
No. Poor kid.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Which is not surprising. I'm just not white enough to not be able to handle dairy myself, so.
Yeah.
Growing into his heritage.
Yeah.
Liana was very funny.
Yeah.
That was very fun. She had jokes.
Yeah.